If you can give me 10 to 15 minutes, we'll see how long this is because Lord knows I can yap. I will save you years of habit building and habit changing mistakes. As someone who's been obsessed with habit building since the age of like 16 or earlier, I have learned a lot along the way. And now I can full-heartedly say I feel super, super confident if you ask me to build any habit. Not that it's particularly easy for me, but I know the hurdles and I'm able to jump over them with more awareness and not make the most common mistakes. If you have been starting new routines, you feel motivated for a week, for a few days, and then you kind of slowly watch it all fall apart, and next thing you know, you feel like you're back where you started, this is for you. Because the truth is that you're not lazy, you're not unmotivated, and you're not broken. You've just been taught the wrong way to build habits. And today I'm going to break down some of the most common things that could be holding you back and how to fix it. Welcome back to The Creation of Her. We talk about all things here, from mindset to productivity to feminine energy to glow ups, everything you could possibly need to close the gap between who you are now and the woman that you were always meant to be. So if that sounds like your vibe and you want to clean your feed with the more positive side of the internet, definitely make sure to follow if you're listening on the podcast or subscribe on YouTube so that you can hear more from me because I come out with videos every single week. Okay, personally, I wasted years thinking that the problem was that I just needed a little more willpower. I cannot explain to you how many times I wrote the perfect routine over and over again every single 2 weeks. Like every 2 weeks, there would be a new perfect routine. I would fill out the perfect habit tracker. I would even buy new gadgets, new workout sets, or some kind of really cute agenda, thinking that that would be the motivating factor that would finally make things click for me and make me consistent with change. But within weeks, it's like you're back to square one. You are frustrated and disappointed in yourself. And it took me 5 years of trial and error, and I'm still going strong because trial and error is always something. And sometimes it even took me tears for me to finally realize and get it into my head and my bones that habit change is about systems, not willpower or motivation. Once I figured this out, like actually, that's when my mornings, my energy, and my confidence and my habits were finally able to completely shift. And that is what I want for you. So mistake number 1 is going too big too fast. Has this ever happened to you where from one day to the next, you decide that you are going to wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym for an hour, meditate, journal, then make a green smoothie, and you're going to do all of this starting on Monday. And today's Sunday. Your brain is overwhelmed even just looking at that. You might get some dopamine planning that out, but once you actually start doing it, your brain actually becomes overwhelmed because you're trying to make all these new pathways at once while canceling out old pathways. And then within days, you're burnt out. The motivation is gone and you are back being a subject to your own psychology, or a victim to your own psychology, I should say. Starting too big is a huge mistake. It only happens every so often that we start big and actually stick with something. And it usually happens after some tragic life event. And you don't want to manifest that for you. You don't want to manifest that you have to wait for some tragic life event to happen for you to make this big change. When you can start now and you can start micro. So the fix to that is starting micro. One change, 2 to 5 minutes, build momentum. Let momentum be your motivation. If you have never gone to the gym, don't start saying that you are going to go to the gym 1 hour every single day, 5 days a week. Start week 1 going to the gym one time, 30 minutes for that one time that you go for that week. If you go more for fun, then amazing, but it's not an obligation. The second week, we can increase that. Start small and build momentum because that's where you're actually going to see change and you're going to reduce suffering and burnout so that you can actually stay consistent. And you're going to have to fight that part of you, your ego, that's like, no, I want to go big or go home, or I want these results fast, so I need to start big fast. Don't set yourself up for failure. If you genuinely want certain results, you're going to play it smart. Mistake number 2 is relying on motivation instead of triggers. Motivation is not reliable. Think about back to school. If you are done with school, you're in school or whatever. Remember like the first day of school, and I'm thinking of this because it's back to school season now, like the first day of school, you were so motivated, especially when I was like in high school. I would have all my cute notebooks and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to study and my handwriting is going to be perfect all the time and I'm going to highlight everything and everything's going to be amazing. By the end of the school year, you no longer care about your perfect handwriting or the highlighters or if there were ripped out pages in your notebook or not, because that initial motivation from the first day, it did not last. Only way it would have lasted is if you had a genuine system or a real identity shift. Instead of relying on motivation, because it will not stay, number 1, I need you to remind yourself that the motivation will subside. So you need to think logically of how you are going to keep this habit up when things get tough and when you absolutely don't feel like doing it. Instead of relying on motivation and awareness, you want to make this new habit as brainless as possible. The quick fix to that is attaching the habit you want to build to one that you already do every day. For example, after I brush my teeth, I drink a whole glass of of water. Or after I make coffee, I read one page of a book while I'm sipping on my coffee. Detach your habits to motivation and attach them to other habits until it becomes your new normal. Mistake number 3 is skipping the identity shift part. I swear my habit building changed once I implemented identity shifting, because you can't just do a habit over a long period of time. You have to become the person who does that habit. For example, I have been going to the gym consistently for as long as I can remember. That now, if I go on vacation or I don't go to the gym for a period of time, which almost never happens, I feel so out of place and I feel like I'm not myself because I have attached my identity to being a gym goer. Instead of saying I'm trying to work out. First of all, I hate that word trying. How are you trying to go to the gym or go to Pilates class or whatever? It's not that hard unless you have a genuine disability, which in that case, should we even be going to the gym or whatever? Let's not even get to that side of it. But how are you trying to go to the gym? Logically, if you know you have a slot in your day which you can fill up with the gym, which I'm sure you do because I don't know how many hours of the day you spend scrolling on your phone, you cannot be trying to go to the gym. You just go to the gym. This is off track, but delete the word trying from your vocabulary. Stop saying I'm trying to go to the gym and instead say I'm going to the gym. Decide instead of implying. Anyways, the identity shift looks like one person who has skipped the identity shift would say I'm trying to work out twice a week, versus someone who has adopted the identity would say I'm a pretty active person and I work out minimum twice a week. I would never ever say, oh, I'm trying to go to the gym 5 times a week this week. Instead, these are things that actually go on in my head, even if some of them might sound crazy. But I believe them to my core. However, these were not always my thoughts. I had to build these thoughts somehow. I will say I'm an active person who moves every day. I'm naturally an active person. Another thing I tell myself is that I literally go crazy if I don't move, and I genuinely believe that to my core. Thoughts like that. Identity shifting is not this huge word shape shifting type of thing. In my opinion, it's literally just manipulating your thoughts, which then overflow into your actions. Your brain fights a lot less when your identity matches the action that you're implementing. And you can start identity shifting from right now because you have control over what you tell yourself. Mistake number 4, and a lot of people have this, is the all or nothing thinking. I used to be a huge victim of the all or nothing thinking. It's basically the person that cannot find the gray area. You miss one day of doing the habit and you think that the whole day is ruined or the whole week is ruined and might as well start next week. My 2 advices, tips, or fixes to the all or nothing thinking is 1, being able to recognize it. Like if you have a thought in your head that's like, oh, I already skipped the gym this week, or I already had an unhealthy breakfast, so I can just have unhealthy breakfast the rest of the week. When you notice that thought pattern happening in your brain, just tell yourself, oh, that's all or nothing thinking. Then ask yourself, what would be the gray area of this? And do that. Or you can use the never miss twice rule, which is basically you mess up once, you skip something once, okay, that's life. Now, if you mess up twice, that's a pattern. So you jump right back in simply because you are somebody who would, which is bringing back the identity shift. And lastly, mistake number 5 is forgetting the reward. If you have not noticed, in 2025, we are literally wired for instant gratification. If your habits are feeling like a chore and there's no payoff, your brain is going to ditch it because what's the point? Therefore, you need to celebrate the tiny wins, even if that looks like giving yourself a high five in the mirror for completing workout, for having a healthy breakfast, for reading one page of a book. I get crazy instant gratification from checking things off. That's why I personally love accountability trackers. I love habit trackers. Maybe you don't scroll on your phone until you finish said habit. That's another thing that I utilize, and that is the definition of getting instant gratification after a habit. Or even just telling yourself, oh my gosh, Nia, I'm so proud of you for showing up. Every time I go to the gym, and it's just like, it'll happen every couple months or every few months where maybe I'm in my luteal phase and I go to the gym, I show up at the gym, I do like 1 or 2 workouts and I'm like, wow, I'm really not feeling this. I'm gonna leave. I will get back in the car or wherever, and in my head I'll be like, damn, but you showed up. Like, you're really that girl. Like, good job. And that just keeps reinforcing the habit of me showing up to the gym or showing up for myself in general. It's always important to show up, especially if we're talking in terms of working out or something. And once you're there, once you've tried something, once you've done something for 30 seconds, for 5 seconds, then you realize your body really cannot, your mind really cannot. That's something different, but at least you showed up. All in all, habits are not about being perfect. There's actually a quote that I wrote today, and I'm scripting my course later in the day, so I'm going to include it in one of the episodes. But it basically says any attempt to change, even if it's a change for the better, will be accompanied by doubt, discomfort, and a desire to stop. So there will be plenty of ups and downs. You are not going to be perfect, but habit changing and habit building is about showing up consistently enough so that you can see the change and that you can be closer to the person that you're becoming. Like, look, today I filmed my weekly podcast, and I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I actually feel like crap. I just came back from vacation. I don't know if I had gotten sick or something, but I feel literally horrible. But I was like, you know what? Let me just turn the light on. Let me start talking. I already kind of scripted it. If I finish this episode, I do. If I don't and I have to do it tomorrow, that's okay. But let me at least show up. And I know I'm going to watch this video back and be like, damn, my face just did not look like myself. And I'm going to want to refilm it. But you know what? I'm not, because this is evidence of just showing up. And I don't have any particular motivation for filming this week's episode besides the fact that I actually love to do it. And this is my favorite part of my job. But when you feel sick and you're not feeling yourself, let's be real, no one wants to show up on camera. However, I have built up momentum and the showing up mindset. And you know damn well I'm going to reward myself after this episode for showing up by going on a little hot girl walk and getting myself a cute little coffee. And that is me putting a lot of the principles I said into action literally right now. If you struggle with any of the mistakes that I mentioned and you think that that's the thing that's holding you back from truly building those habits that you actually want to have, comment down below which one you struggle with the most. I'm actually curious. I hope this video helped you. If you think that it could help somebody else, definitely share it. Like, of course, if you like the video, it helps me out a lot. I come out with videos every single week. I'm available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify podcasts. Feel free to DM me. My socials are always linked down below. I love talking to you guys, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!